Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here for Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam episode 42, which lands on April the 20th, which is the celebrated holiday 420, and is also the meaning of life, the universe, and everything, which I've been reading recently. I just reread through most of the Hitchhiker's Guide and the contiguous series, because I found that there's a full recording of Douglas Adams, the author, reading his own damn book. And he just does all of the delivery perfectly because it's his book. So I've been reading that recently. A lot of things 42 related. And now we're on Zeta Gundam episode 42. How cool is that? This episode is titled Goodbye Jojo. I'm sorry, it's titled Goodbye Rosamia, which raises two questions. First, are we just going to be saying a casual later to Rosamia, or is she going to get exploded? My over-under is on the latter. She's going to get exploded, and probably it's going to be Camille who does it, but it could be anybody. It could be Fa, just for the sake of things, like, I'm going to go out and do one more piloting, and I get to murder this bitch who's been trying to fuck with my boyfriend. That would be very fun. But I think she's just going to explode. And my second question is Rosamia's name Rosamia or Rosamia? Because I might have been fucking it up this whole time. Okay, Rosamia comes up on the Google search. Rosamia comes up on the Google search. What? Rosamia or Rosamia? Both. It's just both. Okay. But I see the moon runes for it. Let me look at the moon runes. Hold on. Rosamia. Is that ah or ya? Ah. Rosamia. So why do people call her Rosamia? Because they do it all the time. That would be one less syllable. Oh well, she's gonna be dead by the end of the episode, so who cares? Who cares, really? Well, I care. She's had some impact. She's done some weird shit, and she's shaking up the Argama a little bit. Bascom is in power. It's terrifying. Recoa has regrets. Fa is glad that Rosamia is gone. Camille is confused, and sometimes very angry, and sometimes not. Char is confused. Rosamia's gone, but she'll be back. She'll be back for this episode so that she can die. Cool. That's what I got. We're still reeling from the activation of grips and the explosion of a thing. Oh, yeah, that's right. Recoa did a war crime. Yeah. It goes from the forgivable space of like, well, maybe she's just a spy to like, wow, Recoa. Wow, you did a war crime. She talked in her backstory specifically about not doing things like that. We've very specifically lined up the moral state of the universe as like, you don't do those things. And now she's done those things. She really didn't want to. She was reluctant all the way through. She looked for ways to get out of it all the way through. But when push came to shove, she allowed and enabled it to happen. Blamed it on the Argama for not showing up in time when they really couldn't have, I don't think. And I think the responsibility is squarely on her shoulders. So there lies a question as we move forward into the show. What's going to happen to Recoa? How's this going to play out? And I don't just mean inside the world of the show what's actually going to happen if we believe that Recoa is a real person. I mean narratively, if you're writing this, step outside, you get to be Tomino for a day. How do you write Recoa? Now, I know a lot of you've already seen this before, so you'll think of writing Recoa in the way that Recoa ends up being written. You already know the answer, right? That's a problem. But anybody who's joining me for the first time through Zeta Gundam, however many of you there are, it would be also cool if I knew how many of you there were. That would be cool. How do you write Recoa here? What happens to her? Because she's like betrayed everybody she knows and her principles for some other principle that she has a hard time describing. Following her heart, she says. But that's it's such a weak description. It's not a well-formulated philosophical worldview. Follow your heart is like, well, I guess actually it is. It's whatever you feel like doing, you just do it. And that's the philosophy, I guess. I don't know how to feel about that. So, well then, if I don't know how to feel about that, that's Tomino's intent, I think, is that it's meant to be a little like, what the fuck are you doing, Recoa? And so I think that when you write a compelling narrative, you want to some extent, have characters receive from the world what they put into the world. Maybe. Sometimes. It's not... It can be a very good story, but it's not very fulfilling when the heroic person acts heroic and gets killed for it. It's a reasonable narrative because it happens all the time. But, like, when you do that, well, I take that back. Some of the most compelling stories in the world are about the heroic person doing the heroic thing and getting killed for it. But it doesn't feel fair. But life isn't fair. What about the traitor being rewarded? What about that? That doesn't feel very good. But it depends on the narrative tradition. Like in Lord of the Rings, Wormtongue is a traitorous wretch of a character, a sniveling rat, and he gets his exact just desserts. But that's Tolkien, and Tolkien's whole narrative framework is, like, very just in a lot of ways. It's like the characters who do X, Y, and Z get the results you would expect from X, Y, and Z. The universe inside of Tolkien functions the way you'd think it would, you know? You turn away from the right path in order to gain power. Welcome to being a corrupt ring wraith for the rest of your life. You're gonna have a bad time. It's like, yeah, that tracks. I guess Gundam isn't necessarily in that frame, is it? It's not necessarily in the narrative frame of, like, this is the way the world should be. This is a world ruled by some sort of a benevolent viewpoint. In this case, the god of this world is Tomino and the writing staff, right? Are they benevolent to their characters? Does justice occur in this world? Yes and no. So, I don't know how Tomino's going to write this. I think Recoa... Well, it depends. I think if we're in a moderately just framework, Recoa should be betrayed, is what should happen to her. Because it's her crime. Her crime, I mean, now she's done a war crime, and that's a thing. But her flaw or failing, I think, is that she betrayed people that she had given her word to. Really. We're fighting on the same side. Now she's not. And so having put her faith in her heart, having it betray her, or having the people around her that she's now put her faith into betray her in turn seems like the right turn to it. But I don't know. I'm going to leave this in the discussion here at the beginning. Not because I think it'll be relevant in the episode. I don't think it will. I think it might be relevant in the far future, but because the interesting part to me is the realization that Tomino's not writing a benevolent, just story from the perspective of an all-knowing god. He's writing a story about people, or at least endeavoring to, at least trying to. And I wonder if you asked Tomino whether he would value realism or narrative weight more. Which one feels more real is one frame. Like, what would actually happen would be one way of writing. And that might include the chaos and disorder and unfairness of reality. And the other would be, well, it's a story and it should follow story parameters. Like, the storybook world is one where the law of equivalent exchange exists, you might say. And you might say that it exists in the real world too, but in a different sense. I find that to be an interesting line of thought. How would you write Recoa? How would you write an end for her? Does she walk off into the sunset in Yazan's arms and have a good time, having betrayed everybody on the Argama, switched sides to the Tetons and done some war crimes? It's a pretty interesting question, I think, because we do that on the side of the characters that are good all the time. Amuro's killed a lot of people. He's killed a lot of people. Now, he doesn't exactly have a walk off into the sunset type of continuation to his story. He's still struggling, and maybe that's the right thing, is the character's narrative doesn't end when the story does, but maybe it does. Maybe Recoa gets killed for what she's done. Maybe she gets killed at the hands of people who were once her allies. Maybe she gets killed at Quattro Char's hands. He couldn't do it in the last episode, but maybe he'll get up the ability to do it, and he'll shoot her through the mecha. I don't know. I don't know. This is all blathery. It's blathery because I'm exhausted. Sorry. I've had a weird couple of days. I will say one thing, which is just totally out of the world of the Gundam, and is just an aside. My hip is better. Like, mostly better. Almost completely better. I found a couple of exercises by Kelly Starrett of Mobility WOD and Supple Leopard, and did them, and they worked, and I can breathe, and it feels like my foundational skeletal structure of my hips is solid, and it is an absolute joy. I was overwhelmed by near exuberance yesterday when I went to the gym and was moving things, and things moved properly, because things haven't moved properly in a couple of months, and it's been miserable. So I don't ever want to feel like that again. So I'm going to be way different with the way that I treat my body moving forward. And gotta do it, because that was not fun. And it fully changed me and my desire to do anything. My whole perspective and outlook on life was completely altered by a physical discomfort. And that's a thing to realize. It's like, whoa, you are your body. It's the one you've got. And it really is you. I think I had this notion of being separate from it, really, like mind-body problem style, Descartes style mind-body, like there's a separation here, but it is not the case. I don't think. I think it's not the case. I think the unconscious but obvious changes to my cognition that occurred when I was in pain, or even just in discomfort or unable to breathe effectively, it's like foundations. And that makes sense, right? Breathing differently changes your cognition actively. So I guess it should make sense, but until I lived through it directly and seriously myself, I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. So it raises a question about the way that I view mecha. So this is a weird way to bring it home, but I will anyway, because I think it's really important to me, and maybe to you, to at least frame this out. Because we're in the midst of a grand tradition of mecha. A great lineage, I would say, of stories built around this concept. And I think they're really cool stories. And I think they're way cooler than they appear on the surface. Because I think they're an investigation in a lot of senses of what the fuck a human being is. What are you? What are you? Well, one answer to that is you're a little kid who got inside a mecha made for you by history, the father. History. History provided you with this thing, and you're a little kid who gets inside it and has the opportunity to decide where it goes and what it does. The iteration before that is you're a little kid with a remote control who controls your dad's mecha, right? That's a different storyline, but it's a common one, and there are a bunch of stories down that road until the genuinely novel idea of take the kid out of the streets where he's playing on the thing and put him inside the cockpit, and he can drive the mecha around. It's always core to the thing. You're always cockpitted in the center or sometimes in the head of the thing, and that's right. That's correct. It's like, that's where you are, inside your mecha. Hi, you're in a mecha. That's one guess or framing or narrative representation of reality. Reality being the thing you experience, that thing you're in, how it goes, how it feels. Well, you got a physicalized mecha body that does things in space and has certain parameters and abilities, and you're a separate entity that can get in and out of it. No, you're not, I say. No, you're not. You're not a separate entity that can get in and out of that mecha. So I think that but it's a useful era of thought. Decades and decades that we've been thinking about it in exactly that way. In that sort of mind-body dualist sense, where you're a separate thing from the mecha. And then there's an iterative tradition that, to my mind, goes past that and transcends it. And it's represented by things like, this is weird, but like Kill la Kill and Symphogear, which I see as direct linear, like draw a line through kid with a remote control controlling the mecha, to person inside the robot controlling the mecha, to person who is herself mecha, all the way down through who wears the mecha as tradition and clothing, right? Right. Something like that. Or even David from Cyberpunk Edgerunners, where the mecha is something that is technology that you put inside yourself, right? The self exists, and you attach technologies onto it in order to bolster the capacity of the self. Or Symphogear, where the power comes directly from within and manifests as a thing outside of you, but it's something you hold close to your heart and believe in. Like, that's an iterative tradition of the same question. What are you? And how should you be? Anyway, my experience with injury, which I haven't had a lot of experience with, to be frank. I've had what I think, and I might be totally wrong, what I think is a fair deal of emotional discomfort over my life. But I haven't had that much physical discomfort. I've been pretty fucking blessed on that front, and I've taken it for granted in a lot of ways. But having experienced it a little bit, my eyes are opened slightly to what I see as now something like a fact, which is that on an obvious level, your physical form really impacts your cognition, your mental form. The way the person inside the mecha thinks is determined by the physical structure of the body, of the mecha itself. And that's not the same viewpoint at all. And it might open up the world to you. It might be really great, because if it's true, then you could alter your cognition by altering your physical form. You could alter your mind, your emotional state, by changing your mecha, your body. And you can. It's obvious. Take a deep breath. Changes your state. But what if you were better at breathing, right? Like permanently. You had a bigger lung capacity, and the musculature that makes you breathe was more effective. And all the bits and bobs that feel weird when you take a deep breath didn't feel weird. Would you feel different? What if standing was more comfortable? What if sitting was more comfortable? What if all of these things felt better in general? How much better would you feel? You don't know. I don't know. Maybe a lot. So maybe that's the aspect which I've mentioned before regarding Camus, which is that he's the engineer. It's like really often the case in these kinds of stories that the kid who we focus on is the engineer who develops their own mecha after the fact, right? Camus' case, he sort of inherits a mecha produced by his father, who he rejects, but he keeps flying in the mecha for a period of time because it's what he's got, and he's pretty miserable throughout. But he's an engineer himself, and throughout all that time, he's working to try to design a new mecha that will better fit his mode of being, the way that he wants to be. And he comes out with Zeta. He comes up with it, he creates it, and it does change him. and it changes his ability to express himself, and his ability to fight, and his ability to compete with Jared and others, and changes everything. So that's what I come to. This is not a new thought for me, and it's probably not a new thought for you, so I hope that you don't see this as me wasting your time. If you do, let me know, and I'll try to buckle it down a little bit. But the thought is, become an engineer of your own mecha. Learn how to shape your physical form. And in doing so, you might be altering the engineer in a way that it's not obvious. I don't know. I think it's worth trying. It's certainly worth trying to avoid things that are constantly in your way, like pain, especially chronic pain or chronic discomfort conditions. Good gosh. Ooh. It's a bad time. So then the question is, how should your mecha be? I don't know the answer to that question, because it's different for all of us. We're all different mechas, and we're all different engineers. But I don't know about you, but I would really like to have a cool mecha. I already do. This body that I inhabit is spectacular. It's really amazing. But it doesn't always feel that way. The last couple of months, my mecha did not feel spectacular. It felt like hell. Like an internal, continuous, endless hell. There's something else that I have to take from that, which is empathy for those who are in pain. Goodness. All right, we're losing the plot for sure. At this point, I'm able to look at myself and say, "All right, bud, you're losing the plot. Goodbye, Rosamia." Rosamia's gone. Thanks for spoiling it. Episode title. Appreciate that. I'm fine with it. I mean, she was already leaving. Now it's just going to be more permanent. Methinks. I want some Gundam intrigue. I want some characters saying weird things to each other. I want some complicated scenes. I want some cool flips and whips from cool mechas doing cool things. That would be dope. But I'm here for the emotional content at this point. More than the, oh, it's shiny, okay, cool. Gimme the deets. Gimme the fucking base human character. Gimme that shit. That's what I want to see. I want to see what happens to Recoa. I want to see what Bascom schemes. Well, he's not much of a schemer. What he plots, what he does. That's what Bascom is. He's an actor. He acts. I want to see what Sirocco schemes. Sirocco's a scheming schemer who schemes, for sure. And something like a lying liar who lies. But it's unclear how much of what Sirocco has said is lies. Haman Karn is still in the story. That scares me, because I don't know what the fuck she is. She seems like an authoritarian who authorities, but I don't know. It's a complicated landscape of characters that we've created here in this end stretch of Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, and all of it seems to be moving all at once. Gosh, can you imagine if I'd, like, months ago, stopped? I can imagine if I'd stopped. If I'd stopped watching Zeta, just been like, fuck. That would suck. I'd be missing this shit. That would suck. Fuck that. So glad to be here. So glad to be here. Sorry about the weird teeth. That's what I drew today. Don't ask me why. I don't know. On the back of it, I drew two things today, actually. This is like, it's like a JoJo mecha. I don't know. It's Jotaro. Or it's Josuke, sort of. It sounds like Josuke, at least. I don't know. It's teeth. Where did it come from? Where did it go? I don't know. Where did it come from, Cotton Eye Joe? I don't know. Goodbye, Rosamia. Probably from that. Probably I was thinking about JoJo because I was thinking about that. That's dumb. All right, I'm blathering. Sorry. Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam episode 42. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna talk about it afterward. It should be fun. 2 versions. PiP in the description. Timer on the YouTube. Patreon in the doobly doo. Beep beep timer. SOP is really cool. I mean, look, we've watched it 42 times or something now. And it's still cool. It's still got its own damn narrative to it. It's got its own flow. It's got some real characterization. And some damn cool scenes. Oh, was that why they did that? I wasn't clear that they had a reason for doing that, other than just show them what happens if they... Because I think that was the reason that was given, was just like, show them what happens if they stand in the way of the Titans. Sayonara, Rosamia. Oh, we're back on a moon. Back on Granada. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, fight back against a giant laser? I'll fight you, laser! Okay. Hi. Yeah. What'd you find out, Hassan? Just tell us about the stuff. A muscle enhancer. Kita metallothionin? Okay. Power. Hmm. 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 The choice to experiment. Is she going to... What? Oh, that would be cool. What if Emma was tempted by that? Yeah, he's got that history from 4. That's what's going on. He's like, that's so bullshit! Of course. Well, I think you totally can, actually. I think you totally can. I think that has been done. Also, Nazis. Sorry, that doesn't make any sense, but like you can change somebody's worldview via putting them in a different frame. Hmm? That seemed good natured. Not like a serious ribbing. The bad guys. Bascom. Oh, she is still programmed that way. Who's this guy? He looks like he's got the same skin condition as Gaddy Captain. Who's this person? What the fuck? That's a character. Who the fuck are you? Oh. That's kind of cool. The Bound Duck? So is this a sim? Must be, yeah. Hey. Lieutenant Gates. Wait, what? Stand users? Bound the dog. What is that, lassie? Camus fell down the well. Hmm. Yeah, we finally get to see it. Oh, that's a weird looking thing. I assume that it transforms like a motherfucker. Sticky. You don't look at ease. Alright, so Gates is coming as well. Oh. That character looks like he should be in like an idol boy band anime or something different. Wonder if is cyber new type? Would be our first male cyber new type, I think. Oh, we're out. We're going. Hello. Hey, kids. Oh, because Rosamia. Oh, yeah. Woo! Gotta go kill your sister now. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, don't make promises you can't keep, man. And that was Fa too, right? The Methus went as well? Oh, that was Cats! Hi, Cats! We're doing a real large-scale battle, huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah, freaking interesting. Hmm. Hmm. There it is. You think it'll cow people into submission, but they'll fight to the last. That was a cool fold out. That was a cool explosion. Yay! This is one of the things that I wanted. Was some cool space battle, and we get it. Very good. No! More? Dangar. Dangar. Gonna find out. Oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, it is gonna be far. Oh, no! Oni-chan! Impossible, doesn't it know? Vibes. Vibes. These are weirder vibes than we've had before. Whoa. What? Bound by the body. That's menacing. A strange pink glow. Ooh. Oh no. Oh. That's what they programmed her with. My brother's dead. And he really wants to try to save her. That's fucking rough, man. It's building tension. Well, we've managed to get her down out of space. Oni-chan! I mean, really? Can we leave her somewhere? Can we put her somewhere else and make her safe? I believe it. God damn, the mechs are so big. Hmm. 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 This is brutal. That was slightly cute. This is brutal. That's really harsh. We get all this emotional time. It's not just like, okay, shoot her out of space, easy done. Yeah, let's prevent the poison gas thing from happening more. I don't like that. Weren't there two? Oh boy. Just trying to save everybody. Dude, they're long gone. They have to be. What? Oh, okay. What? Who? Oh. What? 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 Sorry, I don't remember that character. I may have forgotten this character. Okay, good. Okay, they're gone. Shit, another Dying Wish type of thing. Char's just collecting those. Hmm? Yeah, that image is gonna get shattered. Oh boy. Hi. It's the other bone dog. They just didn't paint that one. Oh, is it? Fuck. Just gonna vibe her. Wow, wow, wow. No, you won't. No, you won't. Oh my gosh, in the moment of distraction. Whoa, that flip up was awesome. Oh, we don't normally get hand-to-hand combat. Oh my god, we're just having an open-air gunfight. No cover. Whoa, it had legs. Got him. Uh-oh. What was that? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Zeta. Oh, that's a great face. It moves on its own. Oh my gosh. Wow, 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 wow. She's going toward it, huh? No. Just like 4. God damn it. Fucking shit, it all happens again. The voice actress's voice change is great. The mecha's creepy and fucked. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fucking rad. Another piece of great character animation with that run and the juke, the momentum. There's one end to this story, man. Man. Killer be killed, man. Oh, this is good and tense. Yes, I do! Oh my god. Oh, they're still going. That's a weird transformation. It's really quite cool. Very novel. Do we even have enough time to end this? Uh. Goodbye for now, Rosamia. I'm wrong! She's off into the sunset! She gets to go somewhere else and die another day! Basque Om? No. No. Fuck. Oh, it actually got to him, like, really got to him. And it worked. And it worked. This was not what I expected, and I'm very glad. This was cool. Okay, so the episode rhymes with 4. With Forever 4, I would say. There are a lot of elements that feel the same. The embrace, Kamuk specifically comments on holding her the same way, and then she's overwhelmed by the power of the mecha. The body, you might say, from our previous conversation. I don't think that conversation ends up being super relevant to most of what actually happens in the episode. It can be a useful framework or a useful way of looking at it, but I don't think so. Still, overwhelmed by the menacing vibrations of the Psychomu system, it overwhelms her and snaps her back into lieutenant or what ensign, whatever she is, Rosamia Badam, and she's absolutely fucking hates the Zeta and everything about it and wants to kill it, and is also terrified in every way. It's like a whole set of mental states that gets placed upon her or placed within her, or she gets oscillated to, or whatnot. Ugh, rough. So, intrigue. Stuff is moving. Talk to Hassan about cyber newtypes. Specific drugs present in the body. And then we get a little bit of philosophizing about the thing. Mostly Camus yelling stuff that makes perfect sense. Ha! You can experiment with the human body as long as it isn't yours? Ridiculous! It's like, yeah, that's the immorality at the base of it, is you're forcing something onto somebody else. And the counterpoint is, if we can create new types rather than wait for humans to naturally evolve, that opens the door to us in a lot of ways. A lot of people, a lot of time gets saved. And I think Camus' answer to it is actually exceptional. It actually is great. Then they're fundamentally not new types. If it is conscious endeavor, then it's not evolved, and it doesn't count. Right? It doesn't work that way. That's an interesting perspective and distinction. And it's perspective or a distinction, immediately my brain goes to genetic engineering. And instantly, my mind goes to genetic engineering on humans. Okay. Pretty tough philosophical problems, and obviously tough scientific problems, like actually making it happen being possible. But we're getting a lot better at it really fast. The advent of CRISPR in the mid-teens and the work that we've done on that front has enabled us to alter the human genome in really gives us unprecedented control over such things. The ability to add, remove traits completely, alter form and function completely, allows us to be engineers of ourselves in a lot of ways. But then they're not really new types is a really strong argument against that. It's like, but then it's not really the logic of evolution. It's something else. It's something else. The religious mind says, then it's not really God's will, you know. The non-religious mind says, then it's not really an evolved behavior or an evolved trait or a natural process. It isn't the thing that you've labeled it as. It's something else. And that's why we've got the separation between new types and Kyokaningen, the cyber new types. They're separate. They're different. I think he's right that they're not really new types if they're altered mechanically. And it seems clear that the ways in the story that we are altering humans to make them into cyber new types are flawed. Like, deeply flawed. Because the results are flawed. Deeply flawed. They're not stable. They're weird psychologically. Does something to the person. Breaks the person in a really serious way. And then he rushes off. That cannot be allowed! And Hassan agrees. The best way is to wait for nature to take its course. But if we wait for that, then Earth will deteriorate in the hands of humanity until it eventually dies. Well, the same argument can be made in the modern day, right? Alright, okay. A new breed of human will emerge that will be selfless and it won't be greedy. But it's going to take 100 years. Well, people would argue that in 100 years, the world's going to be gone because we're greedy and selfish and we do that. Does that justify making the changes, the flawed changes now in the present? That's an interesting question. I think not, and I'm not sure why I intuit not. It's interesting, though. I wonder... So I mentioned this when it happened. I wonder, given the framing of this scene, if in the way that Emma Sheen watches, I wonder if there's any feeling to her of, like, any desire to add to herself. Like, what if I could become... I don't know. I don't really get the undo your top, no, I'm fine scene. It just seems to be Phil. Will you be able to fight Rosamia if she attacks? I don't know. But she's made into a cyber new type in order to fight, right? They don't necessarily fight because they want to, you know? I think that's what she meant. But they've been programmed to fight, right? He says, he turns and he's really harsh on this. Really harsh on this point. You can't program a person to do anything. I think he's wrong. And I said flippantly, I said, Nazis, right, in the, as it was flowing through. And what I mean by that is, like, psychosocial programming. Not literally reprogramming someone's brain to do a thing, but, well, I mean, just frame the thing differently. All you have to do is take the inputs and outputs of the human system and desire and reframe them so that the actions that you want lead to the outputs that you desire. It's like, oh, you want to protect the people that you care about. Well, those people over there are attacking the people that you care about. Programmed. Your systems have been manipulated in the direction that I desire. And then we've seen the literal examples in World of Thor is truly was programmed to do certain things. And Rosamia is too. I mean, she's programmed to think that you're her brother, man. So he's wrong here. He's just wrong here, and he's emotionally wrong here. And that's cool. And he's vehement about it. He's like, no. We need to have them understand that the Ayug saved side 2. The political play as well. And there's a little bit of element of the political play a bit later too, with the mayor and stuff that I thought was cool and follows up on something that we talked about before. Once we do that, the rest should be easy. Right. You'll need to get in your mobile suit. No worries, I'm a pilot. And he says, thinking of what you've become since your Dakar speech, I'd rather not use you as a pilot, Lieutenant. And I think what he's saying is you're more important than a pilot now because you're a figurehead. So I'd rather not use you as such. You know me better than that. I'm not that. I am what I am. Something like that. And this is all very lighthearted. All very lighthearted and very in good faith, I think. I like seeing the characters get along. I really like that. Okay, the big blasto. I really like the way that this beam forks out. It's really cool looking. This is all a sim. This guy's weird. This guy's new. What a character design. What a character design. Is a cyber new type? It's unclear to me. So, this is an interesting piece of weird physics here. It says that because it's linked directly on the brain waves of the Psychomo system, it's not interfered with by Minovsky particles. They just don't interfere with brainwaves. Which says that brainwaves are something completely distinct from general electromagnetic radiation. I wonder where that idea comes from, because I think that that's not true. We're electromagnetic entities, and the waveforms of our brain are electromagnetic too. We can measure them via such. So it's an interesting distinction that I don't know if I'm down for. But it's interesting because it means that the kind of communication that we get between new types can happen despite high-density Minovsky particles. It gives them a very distinct advantage. But of course, the communication that they're able to undergo isn't very direct, or it's not like you call somebody on the intercom and you say a bunch of things and it makes a lot of sense to them. It's like vibes. Some new types have a tendency to attract each other. Also, unstable emotional state. And Basque Ohm is doing some internal politics stuff to prevent Gaddy Captain from leading, I think. Interesting. Seems like a weird thing to do. Okay, let's talk about the design of these is totally novel. First off, there's no indication when they first arrive that they're going to transform into anything humanoid at all. They're these weird, they're like train cars or something, or like submarines. I think that's neat. I think that's really cool. I like that they're a very novel mecha design. Not every mecha is being designed from the ground up as like purely a humanoid that turns into a plane. It's some more variety to the things, and well, it indicates a lot of iteration and a lot of thought by the Titans, let alone by the authors, by the creators. So at ease here in this cockpit, as Rosamia, as herself. Which self? That's a good question. Okay, mobile suits go, and we get real harsh with it. There are Shinta and Kum staring at you, hoping you bring back their quote-unquote big sister. So that layers it in. It's not just Camus waiting for this person and believing in them. It's those two, too. Which makes it even more of a prerogative for Camus to not go and kill her. I'll be sure to bring her back. Just you wait. Everybody takes off. The scenes are pretty neat. The mayor. Alright, the Tetons are coming. Start firing! Mayor, let's just surrender. No, don't be ridiculous. You saw what they did with the colony laser. They don't care at all about us space noids. And here we are. This is exactly what we talked about when we fired off the space laser. Part of the reason for firing the space laser was we have to show the others what will happen if they fight against us. It's like, yep, you showed what happens when people are against you, and everybody looks at that and goes, well, Bascom thinks they'll all go, oh god, we're so scared of the Tetons, they're gonna kill us all. Oh no, surrender. Let's just put ourselves under the sway of such a horrifying authoritarian regime. And instead, everybody goes, oh, fuck that, I'm gonna fight until I'm dead. Nope, nope, I'm gonna fight until I'm dead. Absolutely not. We got no hope, I'm still gonna fight. Fuck that shit, I'm not living under those people. Fuck that. Later. Later. Nope. Get all the weapons you can. Gather them up. Fight back real hard. And there it is. And there it is. And that's the it's the reason that threats like that I don't think are optimal strategy. Now, I'm no commander-in-chief of a large military force, right? I've stayed away from politics because I don't want the power in many senses. But I think that if you were the commander-in-chief of a large military force, demonstrating might through destructive capacity and then using that as your threat, that's a big stick, but people act weird when you carry around a big stick. And I don't think that cowing everybody via fear ends up being a very effective or sustainable way of maintaining authority or generating additional authority. It just doesn't strike me as terribly sustainable. And that we can take that back to like evolutionary history. We're social creatures who do reciprocity and communication as opposed to threats and bullying, and threatening bullies don't last very long in positions of authority, really. But I think it's somewhat self-evident, at least to me, that if you want people to like be a part of your system and to follow you and to work hard under it, and to like, you'd like them to believe in it, because people who believe in the system that they're a part of work harder than people who don't. I think. Then the way to do that is not by ruling through fear. Or by blowing up whole fucking colonies of people and indicating that you don't care about the people who you're asking to be beneath you, to surrender. They just won't. And so they'll fight till the fucking last. I think it's a good depiction of that. And it is coming from that same place of fear, right? Bascom's intent was to instill fear into all who would stand against the Tetons. Look, it worked. They're afraid. But are they afraid enough to surrender? Or are they afraid enough to fight till the last? I think the latter. All right, mobile suits in. I like the unfolding of the... This is the Mark II, right? This is Emma in the Mark II. Dip pop. I like the unfolding. It's really cool. There are a couple of cool blasts, and then this explosion strikes me as really nice. It's the way it unfurls itself. I really like the explosions as they encapsulate pieces of the mecha, and you got like feet sticking out and arms sticking out, and there's momentum to it as well because the thing is moving through space, so all the explosion smoke is driven backward. It's really neat looking. This is a large-scale battle. This is the biggest battle we've had in a little bit. It feels like at least. All right, goes right after her. And I'll say something else that I really like. I like that Rosamia is always pinkified. I guess it might be the actual glass that she's looking through, but it feels more like it's a like spot coloring or a layer. I think it is the glass that she's looking through. It matches her shoulder pauldrons and stuff, but it gives a particular feel to her. It's like she's encompassed or encapsulated by this one color, and it's like the color of rose-tinted glasses, you might say. But it's the opposite, right? She's seeing everything as Lieutenant Rosamia Badam, and not as Rosamie. Okay, they flip past each other, and we get a really unique compared to the way that we've usually done this set of sense moments. Vibe moments. Because there's no color to them. It's quite odd. There's usually some. Here we spot color the lips, but otherwise there's no color to it. It's quite unique feeling. And she remembers, and in the remembering, the glasses changed. Okay, so we do use it as a device for telling us which Rosamia we're speaking to, in some real sense. I like that. Because it's our perspective on the face of the character, which means it's their perspective outward completely. So just like a pair of glasses, it completely changes the person. They're a totally different entity. Same with Char with the glasses, but here it's much more clear to me. Okay, I'll go. And she looks down, and all the screens are like this twisted mess of psychedelic colors. I don't know what to read into that. Is that literally happening on the screens as a result of her brainwaves changing? Or is that what she's seeing because the person that she is when she's Rosamia isn't the person that she is when she's Rosamia? Like, she's not capable of understanding the cockpit. I don't know. But absolute torment on her face. Where's the really cool face? And she begins firing. The sky, the Zeta dropped the sky and crushed my little brother, mother, and father. So I think this is the memory that's been implanted into her to make her believe that the Zeta is the enemy. And it's just the same thing. It's like, well, you want all these things? That's the person who's trying to take them away from you. Being programmed. And she's programmed. But it's more complicated than that, because she's really fucking programmed. The sky will fall. I didn't come here in the Zeta to fight you. Let's return to the white ship. Get away, don't come closer. He asks for more time. She gets to look up to see her heroic brother entering the space. He pulls her out. Safe. Alive. She gets freaked out by him firing in that same childish sense. I really like this frame of Camille looking down. I don't know why, but I really like it. As he looks down at this genuinely pitiful character, tells her about 4, frolics playfully. That's very cute. Ding doing doing. Doing doing doing. Ding 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 ding. And war crimes, same time. Dangar. Something about the way that Char experiences this battle is really interesting. It's like he's checking off boxes. He's like, fix this, fix that, fix this, fix that. Just a bunch of shit that he's got to do over and over. Trying to make sure that people don't die as much as they could. And then go after Minerva. It's pretty convenient that there's just a person who's about to die who tells him the thing. It's pretty classic storytelling stuff. And we get yet another dying wish placed upon Char by a dying character. A dying blonde character, no less. Does this character exist before this episode? I don't remember her at all. Maybe in the one episode where we saw that Minerva existed and they might have interacted and been like, oh, you're Char. I don't know. I think this is pretty unsubtle, but still quite good. Just wipe that idea away. We get to stand together and be so happy. No. Nah. Fate says no. And fate really says no. Weird vibes. They just emanate weird vibes at Rosamia. The direct, like within 6 feet of each other fight with blasters is nuts. And I love, one of the things that I really like about it is that there's some snappiness to it. We don't jump into the mindset of a character and have them go, if I act in the moment when the Hyakushiki goes by, then he won't have the chance to shoot me. Like, Camus just acts. He's just ready. He's like soldier ready or martial artist ready. And it's like, oh, opportunity, bam, doing it. And same with the other feller. Gates Chewy. Flip. This flip over is real neat because it ends up being like a side tumble. So that there's this momentum that builds here into the shot and ends in that shot and then carries forward into this next shot, whoop, and then slows as he catches his footing. And then immediately he moves faster than he could move again, right? Hup. The gun comes up and he's already moved. Oh, wow, he moves after it fires. That's nuts. Bam. But it still feels right. Yeah, it still feels right. That's crazy. I really like the little hand-to-hand scene. I would love more shit like that. I would love more shit like that because that was cool and felt like cool character animation. Same thing with the little Rosamia step. They feel somewhat similar. And we get the first hint that these mechas do transform as the legs stand and then leap. Ooh. There's something about a mecha looking one way and you thinking that that's the one way that mecha is, and then it changes into a totally different form. It's like, oh, it could be something that it isn't. And I really like it. Get zapped, get bapped. Get absolutely torn the fuck up. And this face stands out to me. It's like a face from Psycho. Something about the shape of the eyes and the consternation, the shadows in here. Something about it is perfectly evocative. She's, again, that childish fear, or that childish persona that Rosamia has, where she's racked by silliness or childishness. That's here. Her face is quite rounded here and softened in its features here, and she looks, to me, to my eye, very childish, very young, and very afraid from that childish fear. This really grips me. Yeah, she's in her own horror story here. It's like the inevitable monster is coming. Poof, poof. It's bigger than you. It looks and it faces you. Wow. She's already off. And she's a totally different person. I love the voice actress's change. Omaiwa. Very, authoritarian, direct. Who are you? Huh. And we're always down below her, always looking up at her chin. Huh. Nonsense. I don't have a brother. It's me, Camille. Really cool smash. Really big weapon. Insane. It's like a development or an add-on to what the Psycho Gundam had with the big Zappos. And we see cruelty and malice and hatred and murder. And again, another cool scene of character acting. I think that this run forward from Camus is really neat. Especially the way that he sort of senses that something is happening. Huh. Dodges right, dodges left. And it's only Char. He won't shoot. He won't do it. It's only Char stepping in that protects him, I think. So off they go, and off they go. And I was thinking, maybe we're gonna ambush them here? Nope. Goodbye, Rosamia is not Rosamia exploding. I was totally wrong. It is goodbye for now, Rosamia. And he continues to request emphatically that nobody else fire on them. Please don't. Please don't. I just really like the little swooshes. And they're gone. Just waltzes into your life, destroys your psyche, and waltzes right back out. great. Honestly, if this were just a tear apart Camille's sense of self and make him a sad boy, if that were the whole point of the mission, it was successful. It was very successful. Ah. The compulsion. That's really scary. Like, not a body horror fear, but a psychological horror fear. What if you weren't in control of yourself, and something outside of you just went, whoa, 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 and you were a totally different person? That's a scary thought. What if people could be programmed, right? That's a scary set of thoughts. We don't like those thoughts. And so, depicting them in media and playing with them as part of a story, it's really cool. It's really cool. Zeta continues to impress me. It's so far beyond its time, I feel. It's so damned good and compelling and interesting. It flubs the landing sometimes. There are elements that are like, I don't know about that. There are elements that seem to miss the mark, certainly, as with anything, but it feels like almost every episode just is kind of a banger. It has something of bangerness to it. Maybe that's just because we're in this like last stretch, and some people have mentioned that these next episodes, as we move into the last 10, 12 episodes, the last core, you might say, of Zeta Gundam, are where they feel it really kicks into gear. And so far, we've had a couple of episodes in a row that have been bangers, that have been... they've hit a formula and been outside of a formula. They've been intriguing. Things are moving. A lot is going on at the same time. There's enough battle and stuff to be action compelling, and there's enough intrigue and stuff to be intrigue compelling. There's enough emotional resonance between the characters, and maybe that comes from just 40 episodes of Foundation, right? Having been with them and seen them act and seen them do stuff for 40 episodes before this. Maybe you need that before you can really do this kind of play with characters. I don't know that you do. I don't think that you do. It certainly helps, though. Either way, these last few episodes of Zeta have been a lot of fun, and I don't see it slowing down. It seems to just be getting more amped. Grips is moving, and stuff is going on Granada, and the argument stuff are having the wool pulled over their eyes by this distraction mission, and it's working, and there are layers and layers to everything, and it all centers around the actions of this one boy in this one mecha and his surrounding friends. It's a cool way to write a story. And there are some scary elements to the story that's written. I wonder if we'll see Rosamia again. She's out there now. This episode is titled Goodbye Rosamia, and that's a lie. She's out there. Still going, still fighting. Still twisted. We'll see when that rears its head again. It must be a weird thing if that didn't come back up. So I hope that it does. Some interesting questions about whether new typing should be done. I think I'm going to wrap there. Thank you so much for watching. I apologize for the rambly nature of this particular video. That's just where I'm at for today. Sorry. I did my best. I did my best. And I'll edit what I can to make it feel like it flows. This episode got me thinking about some stuff. That always happens too, when I just turning my attention to Zeta. It's got enough complexity in the landscape and the philosophy and the psychology and the politics of the landscape that just turning my attention to it and putting myself back into the frame of it makes me think about things in a unique and interesting way almost every time. That's pretty cool. Not every show does that, you know? A lot of the time you come back to a show, you're like, well, this character met that character, and that's what happened. It might be fun in the actual episode when you're watching it, but then you come back a week later, it's like, what's going on, and why does it matter? It's very shiny and fun in the moment, but compelling? Zeta's sort of the other way. It's like, that was really compelling. And then I go back to it, and I'm like, well, that was also really shiny and fun and interesting in that way, too. It's very different. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll stick with me through this last stretch of Zeta Gundam. Happy 420. I'm sure that there will be much celebration occurring around me. I don't know if I'll take part. I haven't been smoking a lot for a while, which has been good, I think. But I don't know if I'll take part. I might. Happy day. Happy life, the universe, and everything. Treat your mecha well. And maybe it'll treat you well. Don't get manipulated by a horrifying organization of terror. Try to avoid it. Good luck. And I'll see you next week for more Zeta Gundam. Peace!